Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to another edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We are this day going to be looking at the situation of IDPs in Cameroon across the nation, also looking at the situation of the refugees, how they are coping with the imposed new status after the advent of the ongoing Anglophone crisis. Have they be well taken care of is going to be our focus for this edition of the program. We also are going to be looking at the situation of teachers following the the outing of the Minister of Secondary Education, giving 2 weeks for teachers to get back to service, noting that over 1,000 teachers were not in their duty positions. We are going to be finding out also why a majority of teachers would agree to be trained by the government and will not serve once posted to the different localities across Cameroon. We are discussing this with a panelist, Professor Mark Anthony is in the house with us. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Leo, and good evening to my fellow panelists and to the million viewers out there watching at us at this hour. I think it is going to be great considering the fact that we will be talking on issues that are actually disturbing the nation at the time being and how to come out from. So it is going to be actually educative, because I believe that anytime we sit on this platform, we struggle to educate people and not to just pour down opinions.
Okay, we also are in the company of Tamfo Jones, who is the Secretary General of Modekna Party. Good evening, Jones, and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, millions of televiewers out there. Good evening, Professor Mark Anthony and fellow panelists. It's always a pleasure for us to come here and talk about things that is affecting us the most. Following this Anglophone crisis, we know that there are IDPs who are still out there because the crisis have not yet gotten to an end, and people are still suffering. So I think this is a good topic that we are supposed to discuss on and see how we share our views to see if we can give propositions that may push the government to take decisions that will go ahead and better the lives of these other Cameroonians who have left their home to strange lands and all that.
Okay, who are forced to leave their respective homes. We are going to also be receiving Gentle, who is a history teacher, teaching in some secondary schools out there in the southwest region and in Douala. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator and fellow panelists. I'm happy again to be here as a Cameroonian to discuss issue concerning my country, Cameroon. I keep saying that as Cameroonian, normally Cameroonian must sit together and discuss issues related to Cameroon and not foreigners. As a Cameroonian, I'm happy again to be here to discuss with you people about burning issues in our country, Cameroon.
Okay, we are also receiving for the first time in our studios for Wanching Kasmila. He is also a teacher. We're glad to have you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Leo and my fellow panelists. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and discuss pertinent issues affecting our country and to look on how we can have possible solutions to take the country forward. Okay,
if Ndifo Richard is there, good evening, Ndifo, and welcome. Ndifo Richard, good evening and welcome. Seemingly, Ndifo Richard is not there. Connection problems, I presume. Now, we'll start with you, Professor Mark Anthony. What is the reading you have of the treatment and management of our internally displaced brothers and sisters in Cameroon and the situation of the refugees out there in Nigeria, Ghana, and other countries?
If we have to focus from the government's position on treating how they are taking care of this particular group of persons who have been displaced, I want to say that even though they had been doing as much as they had done, the much that the government has done so far is unable to take care of these persons, especially a group of persons who were practically depending on their farms. And some of them who were not actually involved in government activities, but who were actually supporting the economy, and because of this have been displaced. I want to be sincere. Much has not been done. But the question is it the government that is supposed to take care of them, or every Cameroonian is supposed to be fully involved? Because this is not an issue that we should say the government, because for a long period of time, Cameroonians have misunderstood.
But there was a solidarity fund that was created at the initiated by the President of the Republic, and we have seen some government officials move from the regions to distribute some of these things.
Mr. Leo, if we have to focus on that, at times you get the same stories coming up every day. I am struggling to shift away from it, because we can't expect a government that for a long period of time has, in fact, breeded individuals who live to actually steal money from Cameroonians into their personal accounts to do something good for Cameroonians. When you want to look at it, you realize that most of these guys who sit in the name of we want to go and give food or this and that to IDPs, most of what has been sent does not end with the IDPs.
Have you done a study on
Yeah,
that?
I will be categorical in this. I don't want to call names, but I remember I visited the chief's palace, and what I saw there made me angry. I saw things that were made available for IDPs loaded in that palace. And that is to tell you that is how it goes from one person to the next. That is just a chief that we are talking about. What about the other government officials? What about those working in local governments? When you see that, you can conclude with me that most of these persons are not having good faith for Cameroonians. But my interest is not what the government has done for the IDPs. My interest is what the IDPs are doing for themselves. Because you can't say because you have been displaced from wheresoever you were, you just allow yourself and depend on others. No, that is not what is going to make the difference. I was displaced. I can't depend on anybody. I have to live for myself. I have to take care of my kids. I have to take care of my family. And so if I sit and fold my arms and say the government, I will end up dying. So a lot of people are suffering today when they are not supposed to suffer. I say this because each one of us has the responsibility of building this nation as individuals, be it IDP in quote or somebody who is freely living and has been occupied in a particular environment. We have that responsibility to establish ourselves and make that economic difference that we want. We should not depend on people.
Yes. You live in Bonaberi. I'm sure you are close to some of these IDPs. You have visited some of them. What is the picture you can paint of their living in Douala? Rosy or pathetic?
The situation of many IDPs in Douala is a pathetic situation to talk about. So many of these IDPs here, they are suffering. When you move around Bonaberi, you see Anglophone girls, they have become more prostitutes. You see everywhere in Bonaberi, you see them. It's because of the frustration they are facing from the crisis. Many of them are unable to feed themselves. They don't even have money to do petty businesses. So it has forced them now to engage themselves into social ills which are not good, like prostitution. So we are calling on the government that the government should try and do something so that these our sisters and our brothers can return back home. Now, aside the girls, we also have so many young men or boys in Bonaberi and other parts of Douala that they are engaged into illegal activities. Some of them are thieves only because they want to try to fend for themselves, because they have abandoned their farm works and other activities they were taking or undergoing in Southwest and Northwest. If I have to give statistics on the IDPs we have in Cameroon, by 2018, we are having over 437,000 IDPs who are displaced all over the country, which were mostly from Northwest and Southwest. And out of the 437,000, 246,000 were internally displaced people only within Southwest region, and 105,000 were internally displaced persons in Northwest region, and 86,000 people were displaced to Littoral and to the West region. Now, 2 years after, the government has not been doing that much so that these people should return back to their home, because in 2020, on the 30th of September, I have statistics from Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, where after 2 years, we have just out of 437,000 who were displaced, we have just only 322,000 who are still left without returning back home, and only 123,000 have been returned back home. So if you look at the percentage, you discover the government is not doing enough to push these IDPs to go back home, because being in different regions, I bet you they will not feel that much comfortable. Only few are comfortable in their different regions.
Okay, very few. Yes, you want Ichi to come in?
Yes, I wanted to add something and then differ a bit what my brother Casimila is saying. You know, much at times when we think that the IDPs who are in Douala, in Yaoundé, in the urban centers, who have not had food to eat, are pushed into prostitution and into stealing and all that. I used to work in a human resource placement agency, and I remember a time I called some of these IDPs through an NGO, Free Help Humanitarian Organization. I called some ladies to give them jobs as house helps, but they turned down their offers. They did not want to work. So what I want to make our viewers understand is that some of these IDPs, when people are moving from the Northwest to other regions of Cameroon, we should not forget that thieves, armed robbers, prostitutes, 419ers are also moving in the flock. It's not only ordinary and peaceful and honest people that are moving. Thieves, prostitutes are also moving. So if a prostitute moves from Northwest to Douala, the place where she will go and meet her peers is Kwasa, or F, or Ndokoti, where there are other prostitutes.
You know those places? Yeah.
I know them very well. So she will go to those places where her peers are, because they always know how to locate themselves. A thief who was a thief and Mobinquen, who has come to Douala as an IDP, will also look for a place where thieves in Douala are. Places or red zones like Kwasa, where there are thieves, and join his peers there, and they start stealing. And when he is caught, he will say that he is an IDP who has come to Douala and who had nothing to eat. There are IDPs. I know one who is at Terminal Saint Michel. She's selling conch chaff. She was able to get a pot, start preparing conch chaff, and she's selling, and she's living with her children. So if somebody engages he or herself in the societal ills, he should not blame the fact that because he left the Northwest and the Southwest and he has nothing to do. There is always something to do if the will is there. There are people who are carrying bags for people in the market, and they are giving them 100 francs. Some prefer to go and sleep with men for 300 francs because they don't want to work. When I told those ladies that come, I have house help jobs for you. You will live in the house, they will feed you and clothe you, they will pay you 35,000 francs. You don't pay any bills. If you are sick, they take you to the hospital. It's a company that is putting you there. Fear not, nobody will maltreat you. They say no, they are scared that they will maltreat them because they believe that they have a capital in between their legs. So if that be the case, we should not blame the government for that. Meanwhile, talking on the part of the government have done what she have done, but it is not enough, because what we expected from the government is that the government should solve the problem.
so these people can go back to their various homes, to their various villages, to their various towns, because you can never feed a whole region. You can never go. The government cannot be feeding IDPs for over 3 years. It is impossible. Then we should be working for the IDPs. Look critically when they talk about identification of these IDPs. It's a problem, because I remember there was once a time that an NGO came to in Bonabere through a church to give food items and some basic necessities to these IDPs.
Silence.
Identifying these IDPs was a problem, Mr. Liu. These people end up giving these gifts to people who are living in Douala. We saw people who came with their cars, parked the cars, collected mattress, collected a bag of rice, and the IDPs were nowhere to be found. Until at a given point in time, they decided to work with men of God. The men of God may give the true identification, because when they pass through other people who are not men of God, the identification, people were just calling their neighbors, and people like that they are going to give rice to IDPs. Just go and pretend and let me just put your name on the list. You take one bag of rice and you give me 10,000. So those practices will never lack. So the best thing that the government can do to these people is to solve this problem and let the people go back to their homes. These people have never asked the government to give them food. They have never asked for the government to build them houses when they were in their homes. They have never asked the government to buy the mattresses. Even they were sleeping on pine mattresses. It was their mattresses. They did not ask anybody for anything. So it is because of this war that they have run from their homes to where we don't even know, because I talk about IDPs that are in town, some are in the bushes. So it is time. When I say that the government have done little or nothing, it is because the government is shooting at the wrong target. If you think that taking care of this IDP is buying them rice, buying them mattresses, and buying them all these things, meanwhile those people who even buy siphon monies, because the money that is sent from Yaoundé to buy those things is not the original money that is spent to buy those things. People will cut it at different levels before it reaches down to the level where it should reach the IDP. It is zero. Before it even reaches the real IDPs, the IDPs are nowhere to be found. People who are comfortable in Douala are the people who are benefiting from these largesse of the government. And some people who are even IDPs, like Professor Mark Anthony, who are in Douala, they are better off than some people who have been living in Douala who are not IDPs. So there are different categories of IDPs. So the government should differentiate them. And the only solution the government can give to these IDPs is solving this problem so that the people can go back to their homes and let life return to normalcy.
Okay. Gentle, it's not been easy. In Boya today we have constant traffic jam in Boya because of the influx of the population. The numbers of people living within the chief town of the southwest region is actually alarming, and you certainly also have seen some of them. Are you hosting some of them? And to say that when a conflict protracts for so long, those hosting IDPs in their respective homes, say you are hosting 8, 9, 10 persons, you also start feeling an extra burden. It weighs you out, and it's difficult to keep many persons for so long.
Mr. Leonard, I think before coming to that, the issue of Boya, I would like to talk. We are only talking about the issue of IDPs, and we're only talking of going back. There are some IDPs, even the crisis end, they will not go back. There are some of them that they are in Bafoussam, Victoria, and Yaoundé. That what they are doing now is far more better than what they were doing before. We should not only be looking at the negative aspect that no, they will go back. There are some people that are IDPs in Bafoussam, in Littoral region here, and in Yaoundé, or other part of Cameroon, even in Southwest, that they cannot go back to their regional origin. Even the crisis come to an end. We should not only be looking at there are some of them that what we should take. We should not forget that there are certain non-governmental organizations that call some of them and train them and give them skill how to produce some other things. So they have gone into business that is making a lot of profit. So we should not only be looking for a perspective that they will go back. No, even the end crisis, there are some IDP that will remain where they are. It's far more better than before the crisis.
There's no place like home. No place like
home. I'm not saying that there's no
place like home, but you are not home. You are in Douala.
I'm in Douala. I have been in Douala since 1999. So you cannot compare. But I can tell you that I always miss my palm wine in the village. So you cannot begin to tell me that
when you came, you got adapted to the life of Douala. So they came 4 years ago, and
they became used to it. Let me land. I was before
the crisis, Mr. Liu, there was never a month that I did not go to my home. Never. And now that the crisis has come, I am unable to go there as before. So I want just to tell you that some of us are homesick.
No, but you are not understanding me. Because you end by saying that let the crisis come to an end, let people go back. I don't want to say there are some IDP that even in the end of the crisis, what they are engaged themselves in and the profit they are getting from, they cannot go home. Or they can only go and visit home as you used to go and visit and come back. And not that they are going back home. So I think we should be clear about this, about the issue of going back home. There are some IDP that are far more better. That is normally when they say when there's war. That is a normal issue related to war. Eh? When there's war, people benefit from war and people make losses from war. It is very clear. Don't only see war from a negative perspective. There are people who benefit a lot from war. Mr. Donald, coming back to the chieftain of Boya, of Southwest, that is Boya. The number of it's of recent that we are experiencing traffic in Boya, and it was the same time that the Boya Council even decided that all taxis should have registered numbers and they should be able to identify them. Because as we earlier said, it's the number of people entering. Because these IGPs were only targeting maybe the French-speaking region like Bafoussam, Littoral. No, Boya in particular, we know an increase of strangers, taxi drivers and others. There is a situation where a passenger was complaining in the taxi that first time in her life that he gave a taxi driver 1,000 francs to give for the driver to give 800 francs back because she took a taxi from Moliko to somewhere in Bokwango. She gave the taxi driver 1,000 francs. Waiting that the taxi driver will give her 800 francs, the taxi driver kick the car. It should really tell you, when with the 800 francs, it should really tell you that due to the increased number of IDPs, as we earlier said, they are criminals. If a taxi driver knows very well that I'm supposed to give her 800 francs, you go, that is really showing that they are criminals. And that's very clear that they are not actually real Boya drivers, because for the length of time I've been in Boya, I've never given change to a taxi driver and then the taxi driver went away with the remaining change. So Boya have experienced an increasing number of IDPs, internally displaced people, and based on that, it is highly congested. Boya is in particular highly congested, given also that we have students and other people who are coming there for other purposes. But now coming back to the issue of IDPs, I'll keep saying that we are only telling government that government, you have not done enough, like Oliver Twist. But from my own perspective, what I always wish to tell the government is that while solving the problem, we should not keep giving fish to somebody to eat. We should teach somebody to do fishing. IDP should be taught to do fishing. When you keep people saying that the matras were not enough, the bag of salmon and rice were not enough, some people came from behind and took it. Even the bag of rice, matras, and whatever is enough, it will not help the IDPs. They will eat it tomorrow, it will be finished, and they will still be waiting. We should teach somebody how to do fishing, not giving the person fish. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is that IDP should be skilled. If you can take an IDP and teach that IDP what to do, what can the IDP to do. There are many this thing here. Some can be doing tailoring, some can be doing involved in carpentry of this thing, and other skill that will enable them to become better people and I will not depend tomorrow. We should not keep telling them that if we giving food, giving mattress, it means that we are keep training them to depend on somebody tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Let them be skilled on something that when nobody is not there, they can take care of themselves and feed themselves, and that will be better.
Okay, Professor Mark Anthony, the government has been handling many of the issues relating to internally displaced persons and refugees. We also have NGOs involved in it. Has it been easy to localize those that are supposed to benefit from whatever is meant for our IDPs, going by government strategy?
The answer will be no.
Okay.
Because I have been in Douala since 2018. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody had ever located me as an IDP.
Because you did not register.
You register? Where are we supposed to register?
They call for people to be registered.
No, you're a fortunate IDP.
They register. They do register.
The question is, where are we supposed to register? Because when the call for registration comes, somebody needs to go and register. Is it everybody that gets to listen to the information to go and register? No. That is the fortunate, or let me use the word unfortunate situation of a lot of these IDPs who never had the opportunity to actually go write their name somewhere to feature. And amidst many that had actually taken the opportunity to actually write down their names, I would announce to you that most times when I watched this situation on TV, I hear them crying that they wrote their names, but when they came, they were unable to actually receive anything. Even a bowl of rice, they were unable to receive it. They only told them that people will come again next time. And so that is the kind of situation where a lot of persons who have been actually identified are unable to receive anything. And if we claim that the government has done its best, it is because we are trying to make it clear that every individual should be able to take care of his or herself. Because I want to put my words plain. This government had not been able to take care of Cameroonian citizens when they were not displaced. What about taking care of them when they are displaced? So it is not something we should look up to the government to handle. We appreciate the NGOs who did their best to actually take care of some of the IDPs, but that is not enough. Like I said, it is not all about giving them what to eat. When we give you what to eat today, we should be able to give you a training that will permit you to come up with something that you can take care of yourself the next day. Because that is the error where we donate money, like you asked me this question earlier. Money has been raised in billions. The question is, why not use this money, send most of these IDPs into training, especially those who came from different villages? Let them be trained on how to cope and how to create, not just say businesses, get into some handworks and do some stuff which they can use in fending for themselves. When you look at things like that, which are not done for any reason, believe that there is good faith in actually collecting the money to take care of the people. For me, as long as I'm concerned, that money has gone into the accounts of some particular individuals. And as a result of that, those whom the money was actually supposed to be channeled to are the ones suffering. Okay. And so
they're the ones.
They are the ones who are suffering, because I will be sincere, IDPs are not being taken care of. Okay. But like I said,
not all now.
There is
some are taken care of now.
No, when I say it's not all, you are right. Not all, and not all can be taken care of. My interest is that they should be formed, or might be they should give money to a group of them and tell them, use this, invest in something which all of you can benefit from. Now, that is the way.
Severally, when we look at activities, humanitarian activities geared towards assisting the situation of IDPs across Cameroon, we mostly see bags of rice, we see buckets, we see mattresses. We should focus not actually be on capacity building so that they can fend for themselves. I'm sure you raised the issue, or somebody raised the issue already. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that giving foodstuff, especially rice, groundnut oil, savon to IDPs is not going to solve the problem. The IDPs are really suffering, as I earlier said. If you look at the conditions some of them are going through in these big cities, it's a very precarious situation that they cannot cope. So I'm saying that the best way to solve this issue concerning IDPs is to try for a way and return them back home. My brother said IDPs in Douala, he wanted to give them jobs for 35,000. I begin to ask myself questions. We are living in Douala. We know how the town, the city is very expensive. Giving a job to a woman for 35,000 who lives in Bonamusadzi, and she has to pay rent and she's living with children. Or in case, how will she cook? Or even if she's staying in the company's house, she having children that they have to go to school. How will she be able to meet up with the day-to-day activities or financial challenges? Now, these women, when they were back home, most of them were involved in their agricultural activities, whom they were making money and they were not paying rent, they were not paying high bills. You see that at home, they were better than they have come to Douala because of safety. So I'm standing on the point that we should try, the government should put more effort and return back the IDPs back to their home, because being in Douala is not going to be easy. And we have come to discover that as the IDPs are in Douala, it's also affecting the cities. not only Douala, Yaoundé, Bafoussam, and the other big cities, because these IDPs, when they were back home, they were involved in agricultural activities. Now that they have been transferred to, or they have relocated to these big cities,
so
it means that
nothing should be done regarding their training, capacity building, so that should they not be taught how to do business better, how to produce savon and a host of others, so that they can fend for themselves. Because you want the government to return them. What if the conflict I don't know, persists for the next 5-10 years? How do they fend for themselves?
Yes, if I'm talking about government returning them back home, it means that I'm saying that the government should solve the crisis so that these people can return back home. Being in Douala is a disadvantage, not only to the IDPs, but to other people. Because if you look at the prices of foodstuff and even house rent and other bills in these big cities, they have increased. Why? Because of the IDPs. So the thing now is affecting even those who are not IDPs and the IDPs. Many people are unable to pay bills because of what? The increase in the population. It has made prices of foodstuff and other items to increase. So giving training to them is good, but the problem is that when you talk about producing savon and other items, will they be able to cope with the expensiveness of these big cities?
Yeah, but
that is where my question lies.
You also think that focus should not be I don't know, it shouldn't be on training, it should just be on receiving food? What if the government attempts to solve the problem and it persists and it's not working?
Yes, before I get there, I would like to answer my brother for the 35,000 job. I made it clear here that I choose some ladies and not women, meaning that they were not having children. And this job was for them to go and live in their employer's house and take care of the employer's children.
So they will not pay water?
They will not pay any bills, and they were supposed to be clothed by their employer. If they fall sick, their employer treats them and give them 35,000. That 35,000 is just for their savings, so they can start a small business later on, or a petite rate. Now, coming to the government, you see, Mr. Leo, it is so sad that the government is only concentrating on the DDR for training. Only training those who have left their guns from the bushes to give them, because they tell me that in the DDR center they train people there. Why is it that this training cannot also be given to these ITPs? Because if they had created training centers in the localities where these ITPs are great in number, I think it would have gone a long way to help them. Because each time you come and give them a bucket, what is a bucket? You give them a bag of rice, they will eat it before you know it. Within 2-3 months, the thing is finished. They start looking up to you again like a god. Why must they make us to remain beggars? That is the same way our system of education has pushed us to be waiting for white-collar jobs, and our country is going backward like Sunday. Now, we want the government to create centers. It is not yet late. Because if at all, Mr. Leo, if people are sent to prison, inside the prisons, they learn trade, come outside and start making money from the trade they learn in prison. Then what about those who are out of prison? These IDPs, they should open centers for them. They are people. I myself, I have a handwork, and I'm open and ready to train whosoever that is ready for free of charge. All the person needs to give out his or her time, and I make sure I train you very fast so that you start making money very fast. So these IDPs, some of them are not willing. They only want to be receiving like police officers. So time has come for us to do serious things, to be serious with our life and be honest. So the government, we keep saying the government, because our hands are short. We in Modena, we have also give our own donations to the IDPs. And from all integration, it is said that those who are supporting NGOs to give donations to these IDPs, because it's not only the government that is giving aid to the IDPs. There are NGOs out there that are doing great jobs, and we congratulate them. People who are helping this NGO to do this job, statistics show that majority are the francophones. Meanwhile, we have Anglophones who are very comfortable, that they can even house and feed 100 ITPs, but they are not willing. So we begin to ask ourselves, is it that the Anglophones don't love each other? Because when we look at this Anglophone problem, is because the Anglophone problem is even the Anglophone, it's not even someone else. Because it is the same our brothers who came out and said that there's no Anglophone problem. It is the same our brothers who came out and say, this man is from Southwest, this man is from Grafi. So these things, I think that time has come for us to sit down and see how we will have to change our mindset, because it's all about mindset, as Professor Mark Anthony always says. Mindset. We always have the mindset that we'll have to sit somewhere and fold our arms and food will come from somewhere. No. We should train people how to fend. Because by the time, if you train a family member, he or she may also train the other family members. That's why you see family people are growing. So time has come, so the government should stop giving out money, because the money that they have given so far will have helped to train so many that maybe by now they will have been comfortable even contributing to the gross domestic product.
Now, what do you? Almost everybody is blaming government for not helping. We see organizations also mostly involved in the provision of food items now. Can they, if government is failing in that part, can the civil society and organizations not look at assisting them differently, like what the Center for Human Rights and Democracy is doing in Boya?
In Boya. Yes. Mr. Moderator, I think that's an excellent initiative. Unfortunately, when you see the way Cameroon, the organigram in which Cameroon finds itself, people always look government. That's something very funny. If the government is not providing or unable to set up a place where they can be trained, what is the work of civil society representative? What is the work of different political parties? I think my fellow panelist is also talking of how their own political party, when I'm providing some food stuff. I think within their own political party, we have more than 250 different political parties. 300 and something. Yes. What are different political parties doing? Why is that a vibrant political party cannot put in place a strong set up a training center to train to this internally displaced person? It is very funny that a political party, which not only create political party looking at want to run a presidential election, want to run legislative and municipal election. Meanwhile, you want to run that election to win the election and take care of people, but the people are beside you. You are unable to take care of them. But you are having to know, when I take over power before, if you cannot take care of people, when you are not even taking over leadership, when you take over leadership, is it when you are going to take care of the people? I think we should be realistic in Cameroon. Everything you say, no, the government, no, it's not all about government. What are we doing to take care of these people? And Mr. Let me learn, and I know you are coming in. And we are having personalities in Cameroon of caliber of Dangote that can not only house IDPs, but can set up a powerful training center to take care of IDPs. But it become a problem, something like it's not my problem.
Yeah, but the problem, my question is, there are non-governmental organizations who receive assistance from within and without, and all we also find them doing is doing what is similar to government's action. Why can they not use the resources differently from how the government does?
Okay, Mr. Liu, I will be sincere. A lot of times, most of these organizations do what we call eye service. It's just to make people believe that they are doing something.
Okay.
Yes, that's the actual act behind, because I don't see a reason why, for example, an organization should be able to plan something, organize the people, bring them, train them. That's the best way out. Because when that happens, you are valorizing the lives of individuals. You are adding value. Because when value is added, it gives the opportunity for creativity. And you discover that a lot of these IDPs will not have any reason to complain of where they are living. I don't have money to pay rent, or maybe I'm living with somebody and the person is maltreating me. If they have something that they are able to produce that will give them money, they will take care of themselves without stress. But that is not the situation we have in Cameroon. We have people who are living from hand to mouth, expecting the next day that the next help can come. And that is also in relation to the laziness of some of these individuals. Because when we keep blaming even the NGOs, might be the government, we forget to know that some of these individuals, they have hands, they have legs, they have a brain that they can use in thinking, but they choose to stay put, expecting from others when they can do something, because there is nobody who does not have something. Everybody has something that he can give. Whether you you are having hands or not. There are individuals who choose to enter into doing being jokers, becoming jokers in order to make money. There are individuals who choose to go to the streets to help people because they want to get money. There are individuals who use their brain to come out with things that can give them the opportunity to make money. You don't sit and say there is nothing that I can do, so I need to fold my arms and depend on one NGO or the other. I want to take the opportunity here and make an announcement, because we want to establish a formation center where we will train individuals on, should I call it, I don't want to use the word tailoring because
fashion designing.
Yes, fashion designing, where we'll help some of these individuals to learn how to become fashion designers, because we think that the best way to go about is not to give them the money that we are raising. When we give it to them, they'll eat it, and when they eat it today, we need to come again tomorrow to give it. And I think that's how every NGO or organization or association is supposed to be thinking. Let's look for ways to help valorize individuals, add value to people, empower them,
to give them capacity.
Yes.
Okay.
When that capacity building is done, I want to be sincere. These people will come out and they will keep on appreciating you for having helped them.
Okay.
Not only because they'll have something to eat, but because they can take care of themselves.
Yes, I want to just chip in something, Mr. Liu. My brother to talk about political parties, what have we been doing? Because when they talk about political party, I'm here, and I'm from a political party. We of Modegna, we gave out aid on Saturday to one of the very popular NGOs, because we cannot go into the bushes to meet the IDPs. We cannot locate them everywhere.
But the IDPs in Douala.
Yeah, we cannot locate them. Those NGOs, they have a platform through which they can reach the IDPs more than ourselves, and they know who is who and who is mostly in need. So, and then another thing, we of Modegna, we train people, and we are open. If people gather themselves in a group in their numbers, they come, we train them how to rear snails, mushroom, and so many other things. We have experts, the people who are in the scientific research of our party, they have so many things that they can give out to people. So if people gather themselves free of charge, come in their numbers, we will give them that training, and through that they will be able to earn a living. We also have a fashion designer, as my brother Professor Mark Anthony was saying. So we have so many fields, and Moderna is ready to help, because we not only, I said one time here that we are not only out for power. The happiness of Cameroonians is our pleasure. We want Cameroonians to be happy and comfortable. So while waiting to take power, Cameroonians have to live life. So if there's any point in time where we can come in to see that we put a smile on the face of Cameroonians, we do it without hesitating.
So you people have a Ministry of Scientific Research?
Well, we are a political party. We have departments, and we have different people who bring different initiatives, different ideas for the party to move. Because we take power, we will not be confused. We will not confuse people. So people should gather themselves in their number. ITPs in Douala or anywhere, come and we'll give them this training. Even elsewhere, we are ready to move out of Douala to go and give them that training wherever they are, so that they can make life better.
Good evening to the House. I want to just say that the third speaker, the sir on your right, has really said it all. It's impossible for the government to take care of the internally displaced. So I think they teach them of how to catch the fish rather than give them fish that will never last. Ebon Napoleon is writing from Douala. He says, and also some IDPs who still walk around doing nothing, engaging in prostitution and stealing in the name of no money or no care given to them. I think they should change their mentality and start something for themselves, if even selling of pure water. Okay, thank you very much, Napoleon. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, instead of thinking of how to assist or give aid to IDPs or even to empower them with trade, solve the problem which made them IDPs, and this will be a permanent solution. If they go back to their bases, there will be no need for assistance. Enomulu Bath is writing from Bamenda. Mr. Leo, Mr. Jones said they give aid to NGOs to reach those in the bush. I want to ask him that why are they, as political parties, not going down to the bush themselves? Crispus from Baraka, Menka. Good evening to you, Crispus. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please tell your guests to stop ridiculing Anglophones because it is not only the IDPs who are prostituting and stealing in Douala. Agnes is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Agnes. Good evening, Leo and crew. What the man with black coat is saying is the truth. There are Nigerians who are millionaires that came here because of Biafra war. They will never like to go back again. Charles is writing from Tico. Good evening to you, Sir Charles. This is James, right? So James says, I would like to take part in your program. Okay. James just contacts me after the program and we talk and we see if there are topics that you may be able to handle very well. But I'd like us to say that should IDPs not also develop the winning attitude instead of looking at themselves as losers, as persons that need assistance? They should use their situations to turn things around, imposing themselves and becoming the greatest entrepreneurs. Because if you go around Douala, most of those serving in most of the business places today are Anglophones who came in through this. Is this not also an opportunity to exploit this context?
Mr. Moderator,
Okay. That
You're
is
coming after. Yeah.
all right. That question, the IDPs who are in Douala, some of them have the courage to have something, to start something for themselves and be able to fend for themselves, not only in Douala, in Bafoussam, in Yaoundé, and other big cities which are in Francophone zone. Now, the question I'm asking, let us not only be looking at IDPs who are in the cities. What about those who are in the bushs, in the villages, that have been living in the bushs for long? Some have been living for 2 years. Yeah. How are they going to cope? Would they be comfortable to start something for themselves? Would they be able to send their children to school? Because as we talk, some of them are still in the bushs. Let us not only concentrate only on those who are in the city. So I'll go back to the solution of this problem is, let us try to look for a solution to this crisis so that those who are comfortable in the cities, if you want to stay in the city, is your problem. You stay in the city. Those who life is not going for them, they can go back to their various regions of origin and continue with life there. Those who are in the bushes, we should come, and the government or the NGOs and the other political parties, they should engage on a genuine solution to this crisis. All what we have been seeing that is a solution, I call them cosmetic solution. Let us go to a permanent solution to this crisis and let the IDPs who be willing to go back, they should go back. Because even we do have, not all the IDPs will feel comfortable to live in the cities. Some of them will undergo those training, but they will not be able to cope with life in the cities. Some will be able to cope. So if we come to a genuine solution to the crisis, we will discover that those who will be able to cope in the cities, they will stay back, and those not be able to cope, they are going to return back. And now, if we only train the IDPs in the cities, how would the other villages look like? It means that if a village where, let's say, 50,000 people were displaced and they moved to the cities and they are not able to go back, it means that that village should turn to a forest.
But who says that assistance to internally displaced persons should be limited to the cities?
Because we have been talking, like Mr. He said their party has been giving assistance to NGOs to go and give to IDPs in the cities.
The bush. No, even those in the bushes. Okay. Let me come back to it. Let me say something. I think we keep saying that a genuine end to this crisis. All of us want the crisis to come to an end. But we're looking at where, if the crisis is not coming to an end, we will not do anything. We keep singing the crisis, why people will be crying, why IDP will be suffering. We're looking at something that, why crisis is coming to an end. Why they will look into the crisis to end it? What are the IDP doing? I think that is something we should be. Because if they, from what we are saying now, if they don't end the crisis, we don't care about what IDPs are doing. It is clear that Cameroon want the crisis, a genuine solution to put an end to Anglophone crisis. But now, for the 4 years, what are IDP passing through? What I want to say, let me learn. Mr. Leonard, you earlier asked, there are some these IDPs that I earlier said people are very intelligent. There are some IDP that wherever they are managing themselves, even at house help, even in an establishment, even in the park, they are keeping something. They are generating income. They are putting something. They are investing. And in 2, 4, 3 years, they will send an establishment. And they will employ others. That is already that's entrepreneurship or job creation. Creating jobs for others. So what I think IDPs, wherever they find themselves, should have that mindset, not only of depending. We should not keep. I like the statement that Mr. Tanfo made here, that unfortunately for Africans and we in Cameroon, we had a mindset of depending. We don't create jobs, we look for jobs. And he related to our educational system, which is a pure colonial educational system, where they train us only to look for wait for salaries. So what the mindset, I think IDPs, whatever you have been given, or whatever skill you have been given or training you are going through, have that mindset that as somebody here to train you, or you have been depending on somebody, tomorrow somebody will also depend on you. On you. So you have that mindset to set an establishment. Whatever you are doing, you are generating something, invest it. So that tomorrow you also set something to create job for somebody. We cannot have that mindset of government are not giving my trust. They're not giving me savon. They are giving them a neighbor. For how long? For how long will you keep waiting on government and mattress and bag of rice to eat for how long? So ITP should have that mindset that as what is available, they are managing it. They should be able to keep something and create their own establishment and employ others. They should have that entrepreneurial skill or spirit for those who are able to have something. And let me come by saying that for those who are still struggling to do something, I think if a political party, any organization is able to sustain them, they can do it. But what I was saying is that in Cameroon here, there are weighty individual personalities, not a political party, not civil society representative, very individual personality of the caliber of Dangote, who can do something for more than 50 IDPs, more than 100 IDPs. But unfortunately, I don't know whether it's due to greed or selfish interest, or maybe for political reason or whatever. They have remained they are very quiet. It seems that particular Cameroonian are not Cameroonian of the
Cameroon. Most of them contributed during the National Solidarity Fund.
And plus, Dangote is not a Cameroonian.
No, I will not say. I'm just saying. We are just saying he's an African. I'm saying the caliber of Dangote, who is a Nigerian. Okay. All we know he's Nigerian. I will say.
One my brother said over there is very pertinent. We should have that entrepreneurship mindset, whereby, because when you look critically, we realize that some IDPs, even though we are saying that some did not receive the aid that was sent by Mr. Bia, some were fortunate to receive bag of rice. An entrepreneur, if he receives a bag of rice, he may decide to eat half of the bag and look for a cup and start selling half. And in selling half, he or she will make profit.
How much? How much will you sell?
You must start from somewhere, Mr. Leo. You must start from somewhere. There are people who look. A young man came to this Douala.
You sell half bag of rice.
Mr. Leo, a young man came to this Douala. I gave him 10,000 francs. He said I should give him capital. I said how much? He said I should give him 10,000. I gave him 10,000. He went and drowned 4,000 that night. And then, don't laugh, let me finish. And then he was left with 6,000. Went to the market, bought some material from the market, started making caps, like what Professor Mark Anthony is putting on. Today, that man is having a car. He is having a car. It's not up to 4 years ago. So, if you are a chop block pot, you should not blame people. People have had the means. I'm telling you, some people have even reached some of these IDPs personally and give them things that take this. But they take and eat and begin to want that more should come from elsewhere. Meanwhile, at times, God blesses you through somebody that the person should give you 100,000. You take the 100,000 and put small table in front of your house and start selling Maggi, pepper, and all that. Before you know it, you are feeding your family. But they will take it, eat all the 100,000, and expect again that the government or someone should come from somewhere. When we're talking about the government, who is the government? We are the government. So we as a people, it is our duty to see how we put in effort to support these ITPs too. We're only talking about the government. The ITPs that are around you, what have you done? Have you ever given somebody a cup of rice? We should do that because we are Christians. And Christendom, we talk about love.
And about Muslims.
We talk about love. No, Muslims, I'm not a Muslim, so I will not defend what I don't know. In Christianity, we talk about love. And love is sharing. Majority of us living here are Christians. What have we done so far to these ITPs? While we are praying and hoping that the government should solve the problem so that they can go back to their towns. Because as somebody said here, some people after this crisis, they will not go back. Because there may be a Pamwan tapper who was tapping Pamwan in his village, who has come to Douala and has discovered a trade, or who has started working in Shangti and they're paying him 2,000 a month since that he was wasting time tapping Pamwan. he ends up leaving him in Douala. He will not go back to the village to be tapping palm wine. So there are so many things that are at stake. So we should do what we can do and see what the government also has to do.
Yes, but the situation of IDPs in Cameroon, has it also exposed the hospitable nature of Cameroonians? Because we've not had situations where persons moved to a particular area and were chased and are not welcome.
Yes, Mr. Leo, it is just obvious that Africans in general are hospitable. And it is difficult for you to see one African actually chasing another, precisely coming back to Cameroon, chasing another from living with them, except that there is something that that individual has done or a group of individuals have done against. And so in such a case, I want to say it is in us to be hospitable. That's why in Cameroon and in Africa, we have this proverb that says that it takes a village to raise a child, which implies that we believe in togetherness. It is a lifestyle that we have in us inculcated. It goes back to explain what the Ubuntu principle philosophy actually means, which says, I am because you are. We cannot separate ourselves from one another. Irrespective of our differences, we do have something we share together. So when people are coming, normally the African man will always say, oh, this is my brother. What if I was going through the same situation he's going through? And with open arms, he will receive them. And that is where we are. And that already goes to show you that Cameroonians in general are peaceful, loving people. And apart from that, they are hospitable people. But based on the situations that we are, the crisis, the financial and economic situation in which we find ourselves, some people get to, with time, start pushing these same persons out, because when you receive them, the idea in the mind is that maybe it's going to last for a few months. Because I want to use myself, Mr. Liu, as an example. When this thing happened, we were pushed away from where we were living 2018. When I came to Douala, I believed that it was supposed to last maybe for weeks. So I instead went and took the hotel, and I was living inside. And when it stayed for a month, when beyond a month, I started finding, wow, this thing is going to drain finances from my pocket if I don't get out of this place and look for a house to stay inside. And that is how a lot of people never thought. And most of them entered into this shock because the little they had, they used it and they started suffering. But it comes back, it boils down on this same position where, Mr. Leo, we must get to a place where as individuals we should stop looking for what another person can do for us. We must always think of what we can do for others. Yeah, but so,
it's not also easy for IDPs, eh?
I know it's not easy. Mr. Leo, I remember we were partaker of Panafest Excellence Award that took place. How did that idea come to be born? Was it born from the place of comfort? No. It's an idea that came from an IDP also. So you should get to understand. So you can imagine that because you are an IDP, you just think of yourself. It is not all about you. It's supposed to be about individuals. You must always think on how to add value to people, irrespective of your status and your situation. When you always think of me, that's where the problem comes. And Mr. Leo, I'll be sincere in telling you this, that we came up with this idea because we believe that irrespective of where you are and who you are, there is something you can always give people. And if you have it in you, you will always give it. Okay. So I don't see a reason why somebody should claim that because I am an IDP, I am in need. No. We do not refuse your need.
We've spoken a lot about capacity building and the provision of food items to IDPs. There is an aspect that is also very core. Many of the children of those who have moved are in schools, and it is very difficult to send them to schools, especially in towns like Douala and Yaoundé, where the school fees are very, very exorbitant. Isn't that where most assistance should be channeled?
All right. Yeah, most of the IDPs who are living in the big cities, they are unable to pay their children's school fees because the school fees in the cities, they are very expensive, and it is very difficult to see government school common in these cities. So the private schools that they are there, it makes it very difficult for some of these IDPs to be able to sponsor their children in school. So I wish to propose that the government should be able to create more government schools in these big cities, so that the IDPs who are unable to be able to sponsor their children in the private schools, they will be able to send their children in the government schools. One thing again is that now, if the government make the IDPs in the cities comfortable to send their children in the schools, now what about the fate of the schools whom the IDPs were going in the various villages? It means that the government is killing Northwest and Southwest in order to solve the crisis, which takes us back to the point where I first of all mentioned that we should go back to the root cause of the crisis and solve it, so that IDPs will be able to go back.
Yeah, but while pending finding a lasting solution to it, what should the children be doing? Should they not go to school?
They have to go to school. They are not supposed to suffer because of the crisis.
So,
but now some of their parents are unable to sponsor them in the big cities to pay rent, feed them, and also send them to private schools. If you look like where I live in Bonaberi, it's not easy to see government schools. Everywhere you go, you see the private schools. And some of these parents who are IDPs, the financial burden on them does not permit them to pay rent and also be able to send them to school.
That's why you have more than 3 children.
Good. And it makes it difficult for them. So if it happens that they have solved the crisis, as I earlier said, those who will be able to go back home, they can go back home. Those who don't want to go back home, those who are making it well in the cities, they can stay in the cities, and then they live their life.
I will a bit differ with my panelists. The other issue, I think they are government schools. They are government schools, and generally, again, I will come back to the issue where Ella cried. I think there are some schools. I forgot the name of a particular school, and I would not like to call the name of school to, like, I'm advertising school. There are some schools that their proprietors, for conscience sake, for help, have given reduced percentage of certain IDPs. That is to allow, so that they can easily cope up with the school fee. There's some school like that. I don't, that was I say there's one particular school that the proprietor made it clear that as fast.
How many children can you accommodate?
That's what I'm saying. But now what I'm saying is that it goes back to what earlier says that IDPs, the conscience of Cameroonian. We have talked about civil societies. We have talked about political parties. What are school proprietors doing as far as IDP is concerned? I think reduction of school fee can be part of helping some of these IDPs.
Yeah, but should this not be a policy? Let him land. Let him land.
What I'm saying, because that's why he earlier said that we are all government. All the time we are saying government are giving matters to the man, they're not giving matters to the man. And we come to we have talked about civil society and political parties, whereby he defends political parties that they are giving something. Now, school proprietors, those who are running schools, for conscience sake, to help others. I think we are all Cameroonians. What I'm saying is that I'm not like putting pressure or forcing somebody, but can't they put that in mind that school reduction, especially to these IDPs, is a way of helping them? I think we know the importance of education, and we are crying that there are some IDPs in cities like Douala and Yaoundé who are unable to send their children to school. Maybe school fee is 50,000. You, like the school proprietor, you can say that, okay, if you are from Northwest or Southwest, let the school fee be 25,000, school reduction scholarship, or give the IDP scholarship to go to school. I quite remember, I forgot the name of a particular school that the proprietor made it clear that as an IDP, your school fee will drop your school fees. I think that's a way of helping them. We cannot just help by giving food or money.
I remember we went to some schools in this Douala to propose what you are saying, which is very pertinent. To our greatest surprise, some proprietors and proprietresses were telling us that they're going to pay the teachers, they have rentages to pay, they have this, they have that, they cannot deduct school fees. Now, my problem is with government schools, especially, because if the government is sincere in the aid they give to these IDPs, I think free education would have been would have been the best way for the children. Free education for them. That if, yes, you think there's free education in Cameroon, but the reality on ground, it is not what is written on papers. Because the other time we came here, we were talking about PTA levy, which people have been using it to siphon funds from parents and Cameroonian citizens. Now, if the government, and I trust Madame Nalova Lyonga because she will do a good job, if the government says to these government schools that any IDP who come to your school and show proof of being an IDP should not pay a dime, be it PTA fees, registration fees, or whatsoever, register the child, let the child go to school. I think it would have gone a long way to help. Because going around Douala and talking to IDPs, Mr. Leo, most of their problem was that children should go to school. And many people were not ready to put in funds to send these children to school. Schools too were not ready because we went to schools. Schools too were not ready to accept these children and deduct fees, as my brother is saying here. Very few schools will do that. So I think that I said here earlier that we should practice love as Christians, as we always talk about love. Love one another. And in loving one another is caring about our brothers' needs. If you really care about because most of the time we see and say the government, you are a proprietor, you own a school.
Yeah, own a school.
And you only look on the government to help. What have you helped?
And the federal government give the school
subventions. And you don't help even 5 IDPs for nothing. You are only thinking about the benefit, and you drive in big cars, pay teachers, you are unable to pay teachers well. You are unable to pay teachers well, you are unable to even help the people who are helpless, then you are useless. So I think that we should step up at this game of blaming and always pointing fingers at the government and see what we as individuals can do to help other Cameroonians and not only waiting for the government, because the hands of the government at a given point in time is short. And somebody asked me the question that why is that we cannot go into the bushes to give this aid by ourselves. If we go, we may give to those who don't even need. We may gather people, but these NGOs, we know people who go right into the bushes and have statistics of those who are in particular places that are more in need than others. Some women are putting grasses as part in sanitary parts in bushes. We will not know them, but these guys, they know them. So if we have to reach these people, we must give it to NGOs who are well placed, who know where these particular people find themselves, to give it. Even now we go to the village and we meet the phone and say, phone, bring those people who are in the phone, will bring the people that he knows.
And
everything in Cameroon is politicized.
Are you saying that you don't have representatives in some of these areas?
We have representatives, but now you know what politics mean in those areas. You go to Bamenda now, you start talking about politics in the interior part of Bamenda, your head may be cut off. So to avoid it that it comes from a political party, we just join it in a general bag of 8. Let it go. They tell the 8, they don't know from where it has come, because the Bible says what the left hand gives, the right hand should not know. So we function in that perspective.
Mr. Lena, I think we are late emphasis about the IDPs, forgetting about refugees also, because we are talking.
But I asked the question. Nobody is talking about refugees. But my question is, should it not be a policy that IDPs living in parts of Cameroon should benefit from some preferential treatment from all our educational institutions?
Mr. Leo, normally that is what is supposed to be. I think the Cameroon government was supposed to have developed that policy in favor of these IDPs, because it is not easy to live out of your home for more than a month. The question is, how are you coping? Even though we are saying that people need to be creative, they need to build on capacity, but we must get to the place where we become very humane in order to think of what about those who have never had any opportunity to be trained or maybe to do anything. We must get to that. So I think the Cameroon government is supposed, in one way or the other, develop a particular policy which will be in favor of these persons. And I am shocked that for the past while, all the sessions that had been going through the house of the parliament, nothing about this has been discussed. It is something that was supposed to have been raised. They speak about, think on how to take care of these IDPs. And one way or the other, somebody might want to say, if policies are taken in favor of them and debated in the parliament, it might be implying that the problem will never be solved, or might be because that might be also another means of claiming that the people will need to go to their homes, so there's no need to develop policies on that. But I think even if the people are supposed to stay out for 2 days, we should reason on how to take care of them. We should think on how they can be placed in comfort zones. Because by now, I expected that there would have been, what should I say, some buffer centers which have been created.
Like the TTR center.
Yes, buffer centers would have been created to actually locate these persons and keep them there, to take care of them and to help them in these buffer centers, because they will be protected there, and not only protected, taken care of, and if any training needs to take place, they will give them. They will be able to identify them
Easily.
And if you go right now, we just mentioned the issue of those who are living in Nigeria, the refugees. Practically nothing is said concerning them. Of recent, I heard ministers, in fact, the government prepared a journey to Nigeria to see how they can come back. But the question is, what about those whose houses had been burned, for example, in Mamfe and all those areas? Where would they come? Their villages were razed down. Have their houses been built before they went there to bring them? So this goes to further indicate that there is need for a policy that actually should favor the taking care of these IDPs, because we can't keep on playing this, let me use the word, this dancing, this mafia dance of going in front and coming behind every minute and thinking that things are changing. Nothing will change if we keep on doing what we are doing. And so I think that the Cameroon government must step up its game and see into it that it works in favor of the people, because these people had been displaced. It seems as if their lives do not matter. Their lives should matter to the nation. Those who are in Nigeria practically watched a video where these guys were fighting over a bag of rice. They even finally tore the thing and scattered the thing there. Nobody heard it. So I think they need to take care of them, and the policy should be developed.
Let me take some messages. Good evening, Mr. Kum and all the panelists. If the crisis ends today, most IDPs will not be happy. Any IDP is still uncomfortably, people in their houses in town should go back to their various villages. Most villages are relatively calm and habitable. If they don't want to go back, let them stop complaining. IDP doesn't mean handicap. You can decide to make life wherever you find yourself. Hassan is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Hassan. How are you and the family? Hope everybody is doing very well. Cardinas Eyabi is writing from Guti. He says, construction is a process. This destruction is an action. We should not lay all hope on the government. Let us be creative for once, and Cameroon will change for good. If the government urges to help, let it be a free will for the government. It's you and I. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone in the studio. Mr. Liu, your program is the best. Let the government put an end to this crisis, even though some people are making money out of it. I would like to have the number of that our brother who is ready to train people for free. Asa Nelson is writing from Village. Asa Nelson write to me after the program, I think rather than putting much effort to give them a handwork, it would be better to put in the best for them to return to where they came from. That's the solution. I totally agree with the man with the white shirt. Okay. This is good evening, sir. Let's be frank. How long does the government intend providing food to people that are fully healthy enough to fend for themselves? The root cause of the problem is peace. Once there is peace, these people will go fend for themselves in their various homelands. This is Tata writing from Boya. Thank you, sir. Tata, thank you too. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The Mugabe once said, when a beautiful girl has no brains, the vagina suffers. The Southwest region has natural resources. Okay, please tell. Okay. Frank is writing from Boya. Frank, will discuss on your topic what you've just written, I'm sure, in the days ahead. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for the program. Which is better, for government to take a bold step and end the war and everyone goes back to his or her respective home, or creating jobs for them to remain permanent IDPs. Mr. Temken is writing from Mutengene. Mr. Emmanuel, writing from Boya, says all the NGOs have evaporated into thin air after cleaning their mouths of IDPs' monies and goodies. Those who drove others from their homes, let them tell us what they have done with the vast land. Emmanuel is writing from Boya. Good evening to you, Emmanuel, and to all of you watching us. Ronald, writing from Douala, says, I think rather than putting much effort to give them the handwork, it will be better to put, okay, Ronald, I read your message already. It came back. Good evening, Mr. Leonard, and all the panelists on board today. Mr. Leonard, permit me to go out of today's topic. I just wish to find out if journalists have forgotten about Lil Wazizi, who was murdered. Okay. No, Wazizi has not been forgotten, please. It shows that today is not a topic now. We're discussing about IDPs today. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Mango Quinta, IDP from Bombay, now in Mutengene. I'm pleading for help. I need a motor pump to enable me farm vegetable to take care of myself and my children. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program and it's also interesting. And I'm Ashu Collins, writing from Muyuka. Good evening to you, Ashu. Good evening, Mr. Liu, to the members of the discussion. My name is Mr. Mono Gilberto Ngafono. My own suggestion is that the government should at least reduce school fees. Okay. Good evening to you in the studio. Mr. Liu, I think the government should carry out census on all the IDPs and grant them free education. Naftali Kum, writing from Moliko in Boya. Good evening to you, Mr. Leo. Your programs are good. Mr. Ivo, writing from Fumbe. Fumbe should be in Tinto subdivision out there in Manu division. Now, I would like us to take a short break. After that, we discuss on our second topic for the last 30 minutes. Welcome back. You're watching Prime on My Media Prime. We are going to be looking at this call that was made by the Minister of Secondary Education for over 1,000 secondary school teachers who have left their duty positions to get back to work or face the strong arm of the law. I'll start with you, Professor Mark Anthony. This is not the first time. It's been recurrent over the decades where teachers will need to be called back to duties. Why is it so recurrent in Cameroon? Is this what obtains in other parts of the world?
Mr. Liu, when people go after a job, not after satisfaction, that is exactly the outcome. A lot of those teaching in classrooms today are not persons who were supposed to be teaching in classrooms. And simply because they went after a matricule number which could permit them gain salary, that is the reason why they find it difficult to do what that duty demands that they should do. Instead of teaching, most of these guys are involved in businesses. They go looking for. So what do? They collect the money, they invest in a business, and they focus on the business while still collecting state money without doing their duty, without teaching. It is something that is age-old in Cameroon. And that is simply because a lot of them who are engaged in teaching do not go into this particular field out of passion. A man that works for passion does not care how much is given to him. salary is not the problem. But that also goes to indicate that the Cameroon government is not paying teachers well. Because a teacher who is well paid will in every way possible do everything to be there to teach. For a long period of time right now, if you look at it, I want to use Ivory Coast. If you look at the way teachers are paid in Ivory Coast as compared to Cameroon, is double. If a teacher can take over 300,000 francs CFA, in Cameroon it is not the same. And so you find that there are different factors that play in. I mentioned in the first place the passion, the reason why the person went for the job. He went because he's looking for a job. He does not want to be unemployed. And since the government sent out an examination, let's use the word in French, concours, to recruit teachers, they need a job, so they go in. And when they come out, what they need is the areas that they collect. When they collect it, they start a business and forget about the teaching. So the teaching is not their interest. Secondly, I just spoke about the idea of salary. The government of Cameroon, as the years were progressing, cut down salaries of teachers. And that became a discouraging factor to most of the teachers who were willing to even put a little bit of their time in teaching. And as a result of that, a lot of persons, I will use it, the students are the ones suffering, the people are the ones suffering. Because as long as they are not taught, the teacher is collecting his salary. And he collects the salary, the children stay without being taught. And another issue, Mr. Leo, considering one of the reasons, the third factor, which is the present crisis, war that we have. There are most teachers since 2016, I think 2016, yes, that have not been able to go to their classes. After they went on strike, then came the total lockdown, which pushed people out, and further on came the guns that came out. Any teacher who was found in class was tagged a blackleg. Most of them had been killed. And so you will not expect that my colleague should be killed in a particular area, and then I carry my head and still go there to go and sit in a classroom when there are practically no children in classroom to go and teach. So that is one of the reasons some of them have not been able to go in there to go and teach, because the crisis is in play. But they keep receiving their salary though, because the government keeps paying. And even though, for example, now that classes have resumed, some of them have taken the advantage not to go to classes because they have become used to sitting at home and receiving their salary. And so even though there are schools now that are open and they can easily go to classes and teach, some of them have decided not to go. So I want to say the main reason behind this is the fact that a lot of them do not have the passion for teaching. And that is the center of it. They do not have the passion for teaching. They were not prone for teaching. And so they just entered into it for the sake of job. And that is based on the system in which we find ourselves in. The system is a system that demands people to teach, to go for jobs.
I think I'm not a teacher in the civil service. I'm a teacher with the private sector. Teaching is something like, it's teaching like pastoral work. It's a call. Yes. People are called to be teachers. God call is more powerful than human training. You know, whether you go to ENS, whatever. Teachers is similar to pastoral work. There are many outstanding men of God in the world creating impact in their way that they are not passed through seminary. And there are many teachers who have not passed through ENS, they are creating impact in their world. I think that is something that we should know about teaching. And Doc, Professor, I would really, I really appreciate that you are similar, the passion. But Professor, I will be contradicted with your statement over the issue of, because when you want to look at that, more than 1,000 teachers, almost more than 600 of them are not in their classroom in Northwest and Southwest. And that number has increased from 2016 to present. What made teachers not to be in their classroom in Northwest and Southwest? It comes back to the Anglophone crisis. And that's not my cry. My cry is teachers are just simply victims of circumstances. Teachers are not politicians. Teachers are there in class with their chalk to teach the student. But unfortunately, since 2016 to present, more than how many teachers have been killed in Northwest and Southwest by whoever, whether team A or team B, whether by a non-state armed group or whatever, more teachers have been killed in Northwest and Southwest. Yes. Now, teachers have been killed. The only thing is where condoms and other things, and that is all over.
We condemn.
We condemn, and that is all over. Which teacher now would like to go back to a classroom whereby he or she will lose his or her life? That is the bone of contention. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is that teachers are not politicians. They love to teach. They love to do their job in classroom and receive their salaries. But unfortunately, due to the fear of the unknown, we are not only talking about killing teachers, some have been kidnapped, some their fingers have been chopped off. And because of that, that scares some of them to migrate from other regions, especially from crisis hit region, to area where they think that there's peace. And let me learn. What made me to cry with issue of this sanction on teachers is there are some cases whereby these very teachers taught some of these politicians. Most politicians pass through primary and secondary school, and now they become politicians. So what am I saying here? I'm saying here that it is very clear. Teachers, we're not refusing that teachers should not be sanctioned. But there are some areas whereby even these politicians, before they are going there, they are well secured. They can go there without security. But they are expecting teachers to go to this place without security. It is very funny. Politicians are going to some areas in North and South with very top security. So they're even in armor cars. It is very clear. But now it is, and it's the teacher that taught some of these politicians. But they want a teacher to go and be living there. I'm a teacher. Let me the experience of teacher and come to journalists. There are some journalists in Cameroun that seen the crisis in Northwest and Southwest from 2016. They are never going to Northwest and Southwest for investigating. They cannot go. I mean to go and come. But you are expecting a teacher to go and remain in Kumbu.
Is it the journalist who is asking you to go there?
No, we are just saying related to this conflict. We know that we are looking at the nature of this.
Why are you bringing journalists into your matters?
Mr. Leonard, we are looking at the crucial nature of this crisis. They've had in some areas.
The minister says go to work. Why are you bringing journalists inside?
No, Mr. Leonard. I'm just saying. Normally, this crisis, there are journalists who are doing investigating journalism. People are going to the field to see what is going on in the field. Let me learn. So what I'm saying is that, unfortunately, these poor common teachers are going back. There are some areas that they want them to go and be there. They will be living there. Just imagine. In the morning, you go to some Mondays. In fact, they will be living in these areas. No securities, nothing to guarantee their life. In that situation, this teacher will have in mind that better I should be sanctioned than to lose my life. It is very clear. Life is not duplicate. When you die, you don't die twice. You die once. So I think I'm not refusing. Let me learn. I think there are some areas in North and Southwest whereby if teachers are not there, we can sanction them. Yes, that is the teacher who is not a core teacher. It's the teacher who is just stubborn and running away from teaching. But there's some area whereby if you send the teacher there as you are leaving, the teacher is leaving because there's no security. And why is there no security? Because of this crisis. They have seen examples of others who have lost their lives. Yeah, we should be clear about these things.
Yeah, but not all of them are teachers who are not there because of the crisis. Many of them are out of the country, and their salaries. They have been receiving their salaries. Are they doing that in connection with some insiders? Because this thing keeps coming up where the minister will say many persons have deserted, and that within this time they should show proof of effective presence. They come and they do it, and then they go back and the salaries keep flowing.
You know the way Cameroon is run at times. Sometimes the way Cameroon is run. Sometimes I'm tempted to think that we will do copy and paste.
Okay.
People do things just to impress people that have done something. Because when you look critically, you realize that Cameroonians will go to the street, that they're demanding that the killings in the North and South should stop. The killings have not yet stopped. They pack their bags and go back to their homes, and life continues. You see, the ministers will say that from this day to this day, we want the teachers to come to order, if not sanctions. At the end of the day, teachers will not come to order, no sanctions. We continue like that. Years after, the same thing reoccurs. So we just see a group of people who want to just impress people that they are working, Meanwhile, at the end of the day, we don't know what they're doing. Now, talking about the reality on ground, Mr. Liu, there are teachers. Because when we talk about teachers, there are teachers that are, let me see, they're just selfish. If you are, the majority went in for their matriculates. That immediately they get their matricule, their salary and their pension is secured. That's something that this government have to look into. Their pensions and their salaries are secured. That means when you go on retirement, you have pension. Their salaries, why? If you work, the salary passes. You don't work, the salary will still go through. I remember I once was in the University of Douala. I went there to see how things are being done there. A lecturer came into class and students were making noise in the class, and the lecturer said that I am a teacher, I'm a doctor, I have already made it in life. If you learn, my salary will pass. You don't learn, my salary will still pass. That's a state university being managed by our state funds, with our state funds, by taxpayers' money. And if you start, and the children are making noise, you bringing them to order, you say that you don't care because you have already had it. Now, this is the matter of our some of our teachers. We have a principal. Somebody was a vice principal who was going to be promoted a principal, who left Cameroon, went through the desert into the United States of America. This was not even when the crisis was ongoing. This is before the crisis. So we cannot, teachers should not hide behind the crisis and abandon their post. That is because of the crisis. Some should not hide. As my brother earlier said, that there are places in the northwest and the southwest whereby if the teachers are absent, it is not because of the crisis. It is very true. But there are some places, Mr. Leo, that as we speak, there are camps. That the schools are still camps. That no child can even go to the school because there are men in arms in that school who use the schools as their arms and their camp. So where are these teachers expected to go and teach? Now, Madam Minister said a very good thing. Teachers should go back to their post. But when you look critically, you realize that the number, majority in top, northwest and southwest, who have abandoned their position. Why can't we solve this problem before start pointing fingers at the teachers? Because by the time this problem is not solved, you point the fingers, one finger at the teacher, 4 are pointing at you. So they should solve this Anglophone problem instead of pushing teachers, because lately they will call for the regional elections. Call our phones to go and vote. Now phones are disappearing. The phones are being killed. Nobody's defending the phones. Phones have been left to themselves. The same way these teachers that are called to go back and resume duty will go there and they'll be killed. And only their families will have their eyes to cry. So I think the best thing to do before pointing fingers at the teachers, this Anglophone problem should be solved.
Yeah. Now, issue of recruitment. When he raised the issue of persons who are not called, Gentle also talked about it, that many persons find themselves in classrooms teaching without that call from God to do the job. Is there something that should be fine-tuned at the level of the recruitment to make sure that the best who are called to the job are given the opportunity to mold the minds of young Cameroonians?
Yeah. So far as the teaching field is concerned, as Gentle Larry said, teaching is a core. It's not a place where people go and do adventure. You need to go there and sacrifice. Some of us, we are teachers in the private sector. We know the pains teachers go through. Now, in the government, I'm going to blame teachers not going to the classroom on 2 directions. First of all, I'm going to blame the government. The way the government does recruitment of students or candidates into teacher training schools in Cameroon is purely on corruption. Meritocracy is not implemented. Students write and they believe they are going to succeed. But people who don't have the passion, we just need matriculation numbers, as my fellow panelists have said. They will go and buy. It's not their passion. They just need a matriculation number. And now when they go and buy, and then after the training, they have that laxity. They don't have the zeal to go and do the job. Even if you send them where there is peace, where there is no crisis, they will not want to go to class to do their work. They will want to concentrate on other businesses. They believe that I have a matriculation number, and so nothing can take it from me. If I go to class, I don't go, I'm going to collect my salary at the end of the month. Now, to go on the side of the teachers, on the teachers, some of them have taken the advantage of the crisis, and they just feel that we should not go to class. There are some areas in Northwest and Southwest where schools are going on, like in the towns. When you go to Boya, you see schools. When you go to Bamenda in the town, you see schools. But yes, in the rural areas, schools are not operating. Now, some teachers who are teaching in the towns, they have abandoned it. They just know that now the government does not do control to see if we are going to work, and they concentrate now on other businesses. Some abandon the jobs and they go them abroad for greener pastures. So what the government should do is that they should frequently carry out control, and then on those teachers who are teaching in the villages, the best way for them to go back to their duty post is to solve the crisis. For example, like where I'm coming from Wabane, there are schools there. I don't believe even after 5 years those schools are going to resume. Then I will be telling teachers who are teaching in Wabane that they should go back and teach. They should go back to their duty post.
Why would the schools not start in 5 years?
Because they are not they are not bringing a genuine way to solve the crisis. If they bring a genuine way to solve the Anglophone crisis, we are going to have a solution.
What is the genuine way of solving the crisis?
Let the government should call for a genuine dialogue and look for a possible solution to the crisis.
Okay.
Mr. Lena, I think let me add something here. I will keep repeating the issue because I'm in the field. I still repeat that I'm a teacher. I think when it comes to writing concours, I quite remember I had a friend when I was discussing issue, I was advising him that, well, you're a young man, try and write concours. I see you like teaching, you like to be moving behind me and teaching, but you are still young. Register concours and write ENS. You are many ENS, the government ENS Marwar. Yaoundé, Bamenda, all that, write and pass and become a trained teacher. Be a man to me that he laugh at me. Do they write concours again? They buy concours. I was surprised that kind of mindset, that kind of mentality where a young man that I'm trying to give him advice. But unfortunately, not all, but 80% is a process that is uncalled for. There's something in Cameroon that we have run away from the truth, and we need to face the truth and run away from the truth. I think the government to put in place an organogram whereby this concours, you have what is going on in Nigeria, the Nigerian Youth Service, whereby they must give you they allow you for some time after your graduation to exercise yourself in a particular field that you know, and you must be tested and prove that you are competent before now they start looking at recruitment. But when it comes to issue of this concours, like ENS, for example, it's on now that there's no more orders. At first, when you've written part, you pass, you go for orders. After orders, before you now enroll to do training for first degree 2 years and for advanced level 3 years training, and you become a teacher. But unfortunately, in Cameroon, due to what we call man-no-man connection, people have a pipeline that they pass through. Whether they are called to be teachers, whether they are qualified to be teachers or not, you find themselves at the end of all the process, they become trained teachers. Now, coming back to class, Mr. Lena, we are trained out of experience. Coming back to class now is a problem. Some will stand in front of the student and they will not be productive. And they will insult students, and even some, they will not even go to school at all. And they are not going to school, you will not pay them. It's not that in the private sector that we prove what we can do before we eat. No. In the civil sector, in the government sector, teachers will even make it clear in front of the student, and my fellow panel is saying that after even I don't teach, my salary will still, their salary is not being you don't have anything to do with their salaries.
But they have inspectors here who monitor some of their work. You can't say that
it's not on regular basis, Mr. Moreto. It's not on. They even do census. There are many times that they do census. There are situations where what they want to do census, they communicate within themselves, and so they will run back to those schools. And these things are very clear.
Is that what is going to happen now?
No,
where the minister has given 2 weeks.
No, on that perspective, I appreciate that decision from Her Excellency the Minister of Secondary Education, Dr. Nalova, for that particular issue, because we only limit on issue of crisis. There are some of these teachers that are purely stubbornness, and some of them are not there at all. They have gone abroad. Some of them have lived from their area, and they are somewhere doing business. Mr. Moreto, it is very clear. I was surprised when a teacher, a colleague, called me and told me that if you have a chance, you will take me some period somewhere. I will be seeing you. and now you are not teaching. He said, no, he want me to be. I can be. It really shows that, and it is a pure game. It's a pure business. And who suffers? The children are suffering. And what made me to cry is because at the end of month, their payment is setting. Had it been their payment not setting, they won't have continued. So I think the Dr. Nalova, I love her for one thing. She takes action. She don't play when it comes to practice. When she says something, you put it into action. So the teachers that are playing with the state, I think in the days ahead, they are going to pay for.
Now, why should? Because it is very easy to say ministers embezzling state funds, people steal from the state, and teachers are a reflection of the moral standing of a community
noble,
It's a noble profession. When you take salaries for a year without teaching, how different are you from the minister you criticize every day of embezzling?
Mr. Leo, the system in which we find ourselves is corrupt. Most of these teachers we are talking about, before they went into ENS, they paid. And so all what they are struggling to do is to get back their money.
Oh. By not teaching and receiving salary?
That is why I said earlier that not going to class is just obvious, because to them it was just a means to have a matriculation number, not because they actually wanted to teach. That matriculation number is job assurance, as that's why they call it job security. In fact, salary security, let me put it that way. So they are looking for security, salary security, because they believe that if I have my matriculation number, I can sit anywhere at any time and my salary will still pass. And that is why when they say they should write the ENS exam, they are willing to do anything to pay and get in. So don't expect somebody who paid to become a teacher to have the passion to go and sit in classroom and teach. Somebody who has the passion, who went into it because it is a call. Because the way I see you do journalism, Mr. Leo, makes me believe it's a call to you. It's not something that you just want to do it. And once you have that passion, because I remember Prime I used to be maybe twice in a week, you tend it to be a normal everyday thing. That's to show how dedicated and committed you are to what you are doing. I don't normally in another place, I don't know your salary, it should be very, very fast, big package. But I don't know, this is a private station. Now I'm just talking, but I'm telling you that
Very true.
if you look at things, most of these individuals you call teachers who are not going to classrooms, they are not doing it because it is not in them to do it. It is not in them. Teaching to them is not what they want. They are lazy.
Okay, they're doing business.
It's
and collecting
business.
salaries.
So in this capacity, Mr. Leo, they will not have the time, because to be a teacher means you have to study. You need to research. Take your time, study before you go and teach the children. Anytime a teacher stops studying, he is disqualified from being a teacher. Because a true teacher should spend time in studying, investigating, coming. That is, I want to use these words before I give you back your stage. Your mic. Look at it. A river that is flowing, or let's say a tap that keeps flowing, it's because the source keeps pumping water. But once the source stops pumping water, what do you expect? It stops, it dries off. That is the same way with a teacher. Once the teacher stops studying, he is dry. And you know, with the system in Cameroon, we have a particular, if you are a geography teacher, you teach geography, there is a particular way it is being taught for years after years. So you see somebody who has been teaching, who has been in the career for 50 years, you tell you I have 50 years experience. No, such a person has 1 year experience repeated 50 times. So in such a case, you don't expect any fruitfulness. It is a system that is just so dormant. So anybody can teach. That's why somebody will call you and tell you, go and teach my course, go and teach my period. I have a young person who traveled out of the country and went out. He negotiated with another person. He says that you'll be teaching, and normally my salary will be coming, you'll be taking this, and the rest will be remaining with me. So he is paying the person a certain amount, and the money is entering into his account while he is abroad. The young person is teaching.
Negative job creation.
So John, that's a business, Mr. Leo.
Okay.
So in this case, I expect that Madame Leonga should be very, very strict in doing what she has called for.
Okay.
Except for those who are in these areas where even they themselves cannot go there without using armor cars.
Okay.
So they should not force teachers to go and be killed in places where they cannot go and sit down.
Mr. Leo, tell these panelists that they should be particular negative, not universal negative. Not all public school teachers exhibit laxity, as they insinuate. Eno Mulu Bath is writing from Bamenda. Eno, are you a teacher? Okay. This one says xenophobia have started in Boya, and no one seems to be talking of it to the media. Please make a highlight on this, in as much as we need peace. Unity is the factor of peace. You guys have made mention of teachers from the different views, which are the ones highly affected by the crisis and the ones hiding behind the crisis. So how do the minister differentiate them when penalizing them? Tata is writing from Boya. I'm sure the inspectors will know what to do. Good evening, Mr. Liu. What can I be watching now, if not Prime Hour? See, God bless you, Mr. Liu. All your topics are always enriching. Many teachers are exploiting the government, and many have hidden themselves behind the crisis and have gone abroad or doing other businesses. What aches me most is the fact that many at times, when censuses are conducted, the names of teachers who have abandoned will not be caught, but the salaries of those who are working will be suspended. Daisy is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Daisy. I'm sure we are going to have a prize for you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. We are taking crisis how to put an end. A chief from Boya today came to my 14, was cutting people's cars, scattering things, stores, with securities accompanying him. He's asking Northwesterners to leave. Okay. What we stand for is peace. What I stand for is peace. Whatever the Bible says, we should overcome evil with good now. So we pray that people should overcome hate with love. People should overcome anger with, we should love. There's no need to get violent now, or to kill, or to do whatever, because at the end of the day, all of us will leave this stage. Will not take anything from here. Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I have a school just a kilometer from where I live in thick bushes. How would a teacher go there to teach? First thing first, the government should solve the problem. Mr. Eric is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you. This contribution, dear says, teachers' call was just for 2 weeks for the government to realize a number of missing items in Anglo-Saxon education. Not anything about salary situation. The delay brought in orders to place where we now write up. Schools are empty, and what do we expect of teachers? Yes, where school is functional, teachers should be there. The Amber Boys target teachers as the military does too. On basis, teachers provoked war. If a university made a statement, it was in reaction to provocation from students in the amphitheater. A young Masset writing. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Most of even all those teachers have not abandoned. It is because of the insecurity. When the minister is going to the northwest and southwest, she moved with military and want to. Okay. Hassan is writing from Bafusam. Good evening to you guys. It's Akem from Buddha. You guys are saying teachers should be sanctioned. Are students not going to school because teachers are not there? The government wants to sanction teachers. Has she compensated the families of those who have been killed? Leave teachers alone. Solve the problem. Okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for the talk. The simplest truth is that a real teacher is a real one, and so you follow your passion, not money, because even if they increase the salary to whatever amount, there are some who will not still come to class to teach. Answered Berry writing. Seeing you people, just keep on. Okay, good evening to you, the original Boya Boy and the Manyaka Lom de Belle Femme. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The government should look means to solve the root cause of the problem rather than looking for means to solve IDP's problem. Roland is writing from Boya. Good evening, panelists. You are doing a marvelous job for this country, sir. I wish to have a professor's contact. Okay, I'll send it to you after the program. Just remind me. Good evening, Leo. Is Honore from Bamenda. Just enjoying the program. Thank you very much, Honore. I will ask you one last question. Will the call by the minister or the warning note by the minister change anything?
It will change everything if the minister is persistent.
Okay.
If she calls like that, make sure she put measures in place to make sure that what she says should be respected. You know that a black man will always love when there is a king behind his boot. So if you say it and you sit in your house and you expect that teachers will go back to class, they won't. But an exception should be on those who are supposed to be in places where the war has not yet, where children are not yet going to school. Because there are schools that are still in bushes and all that in the north and the southwest. And I would also like that the other ministers should copy this same example for for Dr. Nalova Lyonga, to see into it that those civil servants that are eating taxpayers' money for nothing. Because I talk about abandoning of post, it's not only in the Ministry of Education. Other ministers are also eaten by this virus. Because we have had in this country whereby people die and then their salaries are still passing. It was not in the Ministry of Education. There are other ministers that are also involved in this. I mean the ministries, not ministers. So the ministers should also copy what Madame Nalova Lyonga is doing and make sure that they bring to law all these people, 419ers in government who are eating government money for nothing.
Okay, we are unfortunately going to end at this juncture. We want to say thank you to you for coming.
Thank you so much, and I wish the opportunity will be given to me next time so that I will come and we talk pertinent issues concerning our country and build the country forward.
Definitely, Prime Eye is open to everybody. If you think that you have something that can help build a nation, please just call me using the numbers on your screen, and we'll discuss and look for ways for you to be part of our discussions. Thank you for coming, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Leo, and this entire BT Media. It is always a privilege when we sit here to talk and when we educate Cameroonians. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming, gentle.
Thanks very much, Mr. Leonard and the fellow panelists. I wish to call on our government that they should put in place an excellent organigram when it comes to writing concourse in Cameroon, like INAM, ENS, and others. Many voices of the voiceless are crying because they lack godfatherism. The system is in a way that they can't reach where the others can reach because they don't have godfathers. Government should put in place something that those who are competent and love their job should be able to meet their tax, or to be able to be given what they want. Not putting a criteria whereby those who are there are not supposed to be there. We are crying for a better Cameroon. Let's cry that people should sit on the seat they are supposed to sit, rather than for other people to sit on people's seats.
Okay, thank you for coming. The Secretary General of Modecna.
It's always my pleasure. You know, while crying, we should keep moving.
Okay.
While we are waiting to take power, keep on seeing how we can chip in into people's lives so that the Cameroonians should be happy.
2025?
2025 probably.
Good evening to you all in the studio. Why only the teachers, the doctors are also not on duty? Ernest is writing from Kumba. The Minister of Public Health should do that. Hello says hello, Mr. Leo. Mr. Crise from Bonaberry, a teacher by profession. More grease into your elbows, Mr. Gentle, Mr. Casmilla, etc. What I got to say as a contribution is simple. This, let the government bring out and back all the military bodies from the northwest and southwest regions and speak peace as the motto of the country states. No threats and fights of the citizens. Okay, we are not also saying that Amba Boys should drop their weapons now. Mr. Leo, the system is already corrupt and nothing can be done to get a good teachers. Some are just borrowed teachers and some are called. So with the system, we just need to adhere to it. I'm Eugene, writing from Bamenda. Eugene says, Mr. Liu, don't read my messages. I've read it now, Eugene. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program, but if the government need teachers, they should solve the problem at hand. Mr. Lowa is writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Our government is not serious, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu. I don't see any reason they have to stop some teachers' salary today. All they have to do is to solve the problem at hand. Many love the job, but we all know no one will be willing to risk their lives, okay? What of those who are in the diaspora? Okay, we have to end at this juncture. Thank you, Desmond. Thank you, Eli. And also thank you to all of you who have been watching the program from the various towns and regions of this country and out of the country. We just want to see you stay blessed this night. Bye-bye.